my wife, for instance, would have trouble with certain staff members, and she would leave it a long time, and she'd get anxious about, this person's always late, or this person doesn't do a good job on that, or please don't hate me. I really do want to be a part of the solution. I really do want to be responsible and kind to my neighbors. I really do want to have a beneficial effect here, and I really do want to have a healthy discussion and a hopefully educated and reasonable, intelligent discussion about some of the things that are going on in the world these days. And she waited too long, so she was fraught, and she wouldn't want to talk to them because she's afraid it's going to be confrontational and it's going to go bad. And I'm like, well, okay, so what do you want to do? Do you want to fire them? Oh, no, I don't want to fire them. I need them. They're important, and they absolutely do a good job. It's just they're late all the time. And I'm like, well, okay, so then if you're afraid that it's going to get confrontational and they're going to get upset, maybe you should open with the idea that they are valuable, that they are needed, and that you do appreciate their work, and you want them to stay. But there's this little issue with their being late all the time. If you start that way, if you show the person that they're appreciated first, then you don't have that conflict. Or you can certainly make that conflict a lot less. So then you can start talking about why they're late, and start brainstorming solutions. Maybe it's their kid, and then they're always late because their kid's, bad at getting off to school on time or something like that. Maybe you should shift the time of the start time of the shift a little bit, or maybe they have to find some healthcare solution, some childcare solution, something like that. You brainstorm solutions to the problem. You fix the problem in a way that makes everybody happy. But if you don't deal with the situation, then it just gets worse, right? So that's what I'm asking people to do, is to, if you want to be accepted into an environment, you have to make that effort yourself and reach out. I was in worship in my church for a long time, and on the worship team, I was in the choir. As a member of the worship team, we made an effort to find new people and welcome them, and we would bring them in, have a conversation with them, introduce them to some of the members of the church, and so on, and make them feel welcome. Usually in the world, that doesn't happen very much. I make a point of doing that in my job. When there's new people that start, I make a point of seeking them out and talking to them and making them feel welcome. But that's me. I choose to do that. Not everybody will. So if you're going into an environment where you feel like you might be a little uncomfortable, make the effort to find commonality with the people in your environment. Think about that ahead of time. Make the effort to see commonality. Make the effort to think about how it's going to go. Plan out how you're going to have conversations. Think about where you want to go with a conversation, what your goal is. At the end of the conversation, you want to have this happen. Well, in order to get to that point, you have to frame and plan your conversation to get that result. And hello, this is good advice for everybody, including myself, of course, including any other ethnic people, any other, it's just good common sense, especially if you're in business or managing people. All kinds of people are going to get upset for all kinds of different reasons. So then this is a good strategy for managing situations and getting the result you want. So especially when it comes to situations like where you're going to get in conversation with like police officers or something like that. You don't always know when a police officer is going to bang on your door and ask you questions. Well, I can tell you for myself, as a as a white person, if the police bang on your door, boom, 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 and you go to the door and it's the cops, you're like, holy shit, it's the cops. Like, you don't have to be a black person to get a little anxious about that. A big, whole, cold, stone drops right into the pit of your stomach, and you're like, holy shit, it's the cops. And you open up the door and you go, hello, police officer, how can I help you today? What's up? And you try to be polite and you try to be as helpful as you can. There's no point in getting in an argument and getting in her face, because it's only going to go bad. So, but that's not a strictly black experience. That's anybody. And like roadside stop, same thing. Like if you're going to get stopped, you're going to get into a conversation with somebody, and it's a professional situation. You want to be calm. You want to be in control. You want to think about how that situation is going to go before you get to that point, so that you can choose not to react, right? So that you can choose not to be, instinctively gut, reaction. You've got to choose how you want to behave. You've got to choose the result you want to get. You've got to choose how you're going to say things so that you get what you want to get out of the situation. That's your choice. We can't not be our human nature, because it's our human nature to see difference. It's our human nature to see fault. It's our human nature to be cautious about things that we're not familiar with, people we don't know. But we can't defeat that. But if we plan ahead and we think about the situation before we get there, and we decide how we want to behave, then we can plan ahead and we can choose to act differently. We can choose to think differently. But you have to plan for it. I know as a kids, our parents would tell us, when your father is teaching you to learn to drive, I don't know if this happens so much anymore these days. People take driving lessons, and your father doesn't really take you out in a car to teach you to drive anymore. But your father would teach you to drive, but he'd also say, well, if you get stopped by the cops, just be calm, roll down your window, try to listen to the officer and do as he asks. Don't crack any jokes, because the police are not there to be, friendly. They're not gonna be, fun or anything like that. So don't make any wisecracks or anything like that. They have no sense of humor whatsoever. But just be calm, be helpful, be transparent, try to be helpful, and do what they ask, and you should be okay. Well, that's your father telling you ahead of time what's going to happen and how you want to get that situation resolved in a way that's going to be less grief for everybody. We should do that in all our situations, in all our circumstances, wherever we're going, where it's not with family, it's not somebody we know, it's going to be an uncomfortable situation. We should think about that ahead of time. And you choose how you dress. You should choose what kind of conversation you want to have and how you're going to have it, so that at the end of the day, you get more out of life for yourself. And so that's about all I have to say about the black experience now, and racism generally. I'm going to touch on some similar situations that occurred that is going to involve race a little bit too, but basically that's all I have to say about the racism thing. Next topic's going to be new. If you like what you're hearing, if you like the conversation we're having, hit subscribe. If you think what I'm saying is good and you like what we're talking about, hit a like anyway. If you don't think what I'm saying is correct, or you want to disagree with me, then follow the conversation, and we'll have that conversation later. Leave some comments, maybe hit subscribe, and I can follow up on some of your comments later. But I think it's an important conversation we should have, And I appreciate your time listening. Thank you very much. Have a good day, and God bless.